الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أأشفقتم أن تقدموا بين يدي نجواكم صدقات فإذ لم تفعلوا وتاب الله عليكم فأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأطيعوا الله ورسوله والله خبير بما تعملون. ألم تر إلى الذين تولوا قوما غضب الله عليهم ما هم منكم ولا منهم ويحلفون على الكذب وهم يعملون ويحلفون على الكذب وهم يعلمون. أعد الله لهم عذابا شديدا إنهم ساء ما كانوا يعملون. اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة فصدوا عن سبيل الله فلهم عذاب مهين. لو تغني عنهم أموالهم ولا أولادهم من الله شيئا. لو تغني عنهم أموالهم ولا أولادهم من الله شيئا أولئك أصحاب النار أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. صدق الله العظيم. سمعك praise الله عليك يا رسول الله وسلم عليك يا خير الخلق كلهم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habiballah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habiballah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabiyallah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabiyallah.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
My beloved prophets, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's beloved devotees. Last week I mentioned a few benefits of visiting the graveyard, and inshallah today we shall learn a few etiquettes of visiting the graveyard. The method of visiting graves is to enter the graveyard with respect and to walk on the path towards the grave you wish to visit. One should not walk through the graves or walk over them. When you reach the grave which you intend to visit, then enter from the feet side and stand opposite the face, so that your back is facing the Qibla and the face is towards the deceased. Recite as much Quran as you can and send the reward to the soul of the deceased. The best day to visit the graveyard is on a Friday, and the best time on a Friday is to go after Salatul Jumu'ah. Other than that, it is also preferable to visit on a Saturday between Fajr and sunrise, Thursday at the beginning or end of the day, or the last part of the night on a Monday. It is also recommended to visit the graveyard on the blessed days and nights such as Shab-e Bara'ah, Shab-e Qadr, nights of Eid, and the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Etiquettes of visiting the graves. It is mustahab to visit the graves of the prophets, companions, pious people, and the deceased family members, e.g. your parents. Do not indulge in useless talk or useless actions when visiting the graveyard. Think of the hereafter and enter the graveyard whilst remembering death. When you enter the graveyard, first recite Assalamu alaikum ya ahlul quburi yaghfirullahu lana wa lakum antum salafuna wa nahnu bil athar. After entering the graveyard, go walk towards the grave you intend to visit with your back towards the Qibla, then supplicate for the forgiveness on behalf of the deceased and all the Muslims. When visiting the graves, think that you yourself will be here one day. It is better to visit the graves on blessed nights, likewise on the days of Eid. The method of praying Fatiha is to recite what one finds easy from the Quran, or any surah or verses of the Quran. Then to recite Surah Kafirun once, Surah Ikhlas 3 times, Surah Fatiha once, Surah Nas once, Surah Fatiha once, and the opening verses of Surah Al-Baqarah till Humul Muflihun, and then recite Ayatul Kursi and the last 3 verses of Surah Baqarah, and then supplicate in the following manner. And this is an example of a dua which you can make. O Allah, the reward of this recitation is presented as a gift in the court of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Send its reward with the mediation of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the souls of his family, companions, those who came after them, respected scholars, righteous believers, and all the male and female believers. Convey the reward especially to the soul of and then the person that you came to visit. You can also, if you don't know the method of Fatiha, you can pray anything you can and then send the reward of that. And there is no limit to the number of people you can send that reward to. And then end the dua by reciting Durud Sharif. Now for a Naat Sharif and a speech, I would like to call Brother Muhammad Hussain.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please recite after me. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habiballah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habiballah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabiyallah. Wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. My beloved Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam's beloved followers, today I will speak about the etiquettes of reciting the Holy Quran, and I'm also going to mention some hadith relating to this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the guidance to act upon what I say. The recitation of the Holy Quran is goodness, and each letter of the Quran is a means of reward. The recitation of the Holy Quran is an act of worship. Also, whoever makes it a habit to recite the Quran will intercede for that person on the Day of Judgment. There are some etiquettes which need to be taken into consideration for the recitation of the Holy Quran. If we do not act upon them, we will miss the chance to increase the rewards which we would have received. If it's appropriate, we are allowed to recite the Quran loudly. But if we're in a situation where we can't, we should recite it quietly. Sayyidina Ya'la bin Mumlik radiyallahu ta'ala anhu once asked Sayyidina Salma radiyallahu ta'ala anha about the recitation of the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. He reports, she recited the Quran the way the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam recited the Quran, and every letter was pronounced clearly. From this narration, we can understand that the Prophet ﷺ would recite the Holy Quran in such a way that every single letter was clearly pronounced and distinguishable so that a person could understand it. Also, if a person wanted to count the letters, they would be able to do so. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abu al-Qasir radiyallahu ta'ala reports that he asked al-Mu'mineen, Sayyida Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu ta'ala anha, did the Prophet ﷺ recite silently or loudly? She replied, he ﷺ would sometimes recite quietly and sometimes loudly. It is compulsory to have wudu in order to touch the Holy Quran. It is permissible to recite the Holy Quran by heart without wudu if we are not touching it, but it's still better to have it. The clothes should be pure and clean, and we should face the Qibla when reciting it. Recitation should be started with ta'awuz and tasmiyah. In the middle of recitation, if we talk to a person, then we should start with ta'awuz and then tasmiyah again before continuing. We should recite every single letter distinctly, with correct tajweed and makhrij. The recitation should be completed with Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Sayyidina Jundub bin Abdullah radiyallahu ta'ala narrated that the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said, recite the Quran as much as is comfortable. When you are no longer focused, stop your recitation. The Quran should be recited with full attention and focus, and should be recited for as long as the focus and concentration can remain. If the Quran is recited by force, or without focus and sincerity, and attention will be lacking. This is why we are ordered to recite for as long as we can bear, and then stop. We should train our mind, body and soul to become used to the recitation of the Holy Quran, so that we can recite for longer each time. We should feel happiness when reciting the Holy Quran, and if we train ourselves to do that, then we will be able to prolong the recitation of the Holy Quran. There is no harm in reciting the Holy Quran off by heart whilst lying down. But it's not correct to be lying down whilst holding the Quran to recite it. It's allowed to recite the Quran whilst walking, driving or doing work, so long as the heart is focused and not distracted. It is not allowed to recite the Quran in a bathroom or in a place of impurity. The respect of the Quran is essential at all times. You should not turn your back towards it, nor sit in a higher place than it, nor should you put another book on top of it. The head should be covered when reciting it, and clean and pure clothes must be worn. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all. Ameen. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah, wa sallam alayka ya Habibullah. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulullah, wa sallam alayka ya हर नजर कांपतेगी महशर के दिन खौफ से हर कलेजा दहल जाएगा हर नजर कांपतेगी महशर के दिन खौफ से हर कलेजा दहल जाएगा पर नाज़ुम के बंदे का देखेंगे सब पर नाज़ुम के बंदे का देखेंगे सब दाम कर उनका दामन मचल जाएगा पर नाज़ुम के बंदे का देखेंगे सब दाम कर उनका दामन मचल जाएगा मौज तक राह हमसे चली जाएगी मौज तक राह हमसे चली जाएगी रुख मुखालिफ हवा
اشارہ کریں گے وہ ناخدا جب اشارہ کریں گے وہ ناخدا اپنا بیڑا بغیر سے نکل جائے گا جب اشارہ کریں گے وہ ناخدا اپنا بیڑا بغیر سے نکل جائے گا یوں تو جیتا ہوں کہ میں خدا سے مگر یوں تو جیتا ہوں کہ میں خدا سے مگر میری دل کی ہے ان کو یقیناً قبر میری دل کی ہے ان کو یقیناً قبر حاصل زندگی ہوگا وہ دن میرا حاصل زندگی ہوگا وہ دن میرا ان کے قدموں میں جب دم نکل جائے گا حاصل زندگی ہوگا وہ دن میرا ان کے قدموں میں جب دم نکل جائے گا رب سلم و فرمان والے ملے رب سلم و فرمان والے ملے کیوں ستاتے ہیں دل تجھے وسوسے کیوں ستاتے ہیں دل تجھے وسوسے پل سے گزریں گے ہم وجد کرتے ہوئے پل سے گزریں گے ہم وجد کرتے ہوئے کون کہتا ہے پاؤں پھسل جائے گا پل سے گزریں گے ہم وجد کرتے ہوئے کون کہتا ہے پاؤں پھسل جائے گا اختر کس کیوں اتنا بے چین ہے شہنشاہ کون ہے تیرا آقا شہنشاہ کون ہے لو لگا تو صحیح شاہ لولاک سے لو لگا تو صحیح شاہ لولاک سے غم مسرات کے سانچے میں ڈل جائے گا لو لگا تو صحیح شاہ لولاک سے غم مسرات کے سانچے میں ڈل جائے گا ہر نظر کانپ اٹھے گی محشر کے دن ہر نظر کانپ اٹھے گی محشر کے دن خوف سے ہر کلیجہ دہل جائے گا پر ناز ان کے بندے کا دیکھیں گے سب کام کر ان کا دامن مچل جائے گا پر ناز ان کے بندے کا دیکھیں گے سب کام کر ان کا دامن مچل جائے گا
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ الحمدللہ رب العالمین والصلاة والسلام علی سید المرسلین وعلی آلہ واصحابہ اجمعین الصلاة والسلام علیک یا رسول اللہ louder الصلاة والسلام علیک یا حبیب اللہ
الصلاة والسلام علیک یا حبیب اللہ
وعلی آلک واصحابک یا نور اللہ صلی اللہ تعالی علیہ وسلم میرے پیارے آقا صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے پیارے دیوانوں ماشاءاللہ you heard beautiful durus by Janab Nurani and Hafiz Muhammad Hussain mashallah and both of them were using this book. What do they say? The prophetic sunnah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now two different topics taken from the same book, and it teaches us about the ways of our beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So we should all have this book at home. Okay, if you haven't had it yet, please have it. Please take one from here and read it sometimes. Okay, if you ever want to know how the Prophet ﷺ did this or how the Prophet ﷺ did that, then alhamdulillah, you need to refer to that book. And the dars that Hafiz Sahib gave was about the Quran. Is that right? Are you guys listening yet?
Yes.
About the recitation of the Quran. And mashallah, a lot of us finished the Quran in Ramadan. But the question I need to ask you, and you need to ask yourself, and I need to ask myself, is that after Ramadan, how much Quran we have prayed so far? Have we finished one juz, one sipara, two siparas? What have we finished? Okay? So you need to set a realistic target for yourself, depending on your circumstances. You work, you go to school, you go to college, okay? Somebody might be able to finish one Quran in a week. Somebody else might be able to finish one in a month. Some are really busy, okay? Maybe one in 2 or 3 months. But you set a target for yourself and then stick to that target. Only then you will be able to achieve your goal, okay? And the lowest target you can set is that you will open the book of Allah at least once a day. Is that realistic, brothers? Is that possible? Is it possible? Yes? Inshallah? Say inshallah, all of you.
Inshallah.
To open the book of Allah at least once a day. As I say, go to the house of Allah at least once a day. At least once a day. Okay? If you haven't had chance, pray Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib. Okay? If you are busy, pray Isha. Okay? At least go to the masjid. Okay? Not that you miss Salah, you pray all the Salah, but at least go to the masjid once a day. And at least open the book of Allah once a day. You see how the levels have come down over the years? The Sahaba could not think not going to the masjid 5 times a day. Today we are saying, pleading, come once a day. Come once a day. How the level has gone down. May Allah give us tawfiq. I was listening to the Jummah khitab, and you know, sometimes I listen to 2 or 3 Jummah khitabs, mashallah. And that is how you learn. You keep learning. The Jummah khutbah I used to listen to 20 years ago, I still listen online. And alhamdulillah, with the help of technology, we have it live from India. So last week I was listening to it, and today I listened to it, and my teacher was going through some sunnahs. Okay? And one of the beautiful sunnah he said, or he mentioned last time, was about Salam. We all know what Salam is. But Salam is our greeting, is that right? Is Salam our greeting? Salam is also the greeting when somebody dies, isn't it? What did Nurani Miya mention? That when you go to the graveyard, what do you say? Do you say hi to them? Like we say to each other when you see each other, hi, hello, as soon as you enter the house, or you see your friend, your Muslim friend at school, hi. Yeah, that is how we start. Okay, it's just by default, you just say hi sometimes. You see kids walking into the house, Mummy, what's for dinner? That's the first thing they say. And we have to remind them, where did the salam go? Did the Prophet ﷺ not say, As-salam qabla al-kalam? That before any kalam, before any talk, has to be salam. So we have to remind ourselves and remind our children too, our younger ones too, that you know you cannot talk without salam. Sometimes our elders, what they used to do with us is, if we used to talk to them, our senior muballigeen sometimes, and we do to our younger ones, if they talk before doing salam, just don't reply. Then they'll realize, why is he not replying? Or maybe I didn't do salam. It's like, you know, to give something or to take something with your right hand is sunnah, is that right? So sometimes if we used to give them something with our left hand, they just wouldn't take. We would say, and they wouldn't take. And then we would realize, oh, it's the wrong hand. This is the right hand to do so, and then they would take. But the next time you won't forget. So we have to make them realize, and we have to make ourselves realize our mistakes. So salam is also the greeting of the dead. When they meet each other, or when we visit them, we say salam. And you know what? Salam is also the greeting of the Ahlul Jannah. Even in Jannah, this legacy will continue. When we see each other, inshallah, we'll see each other, yes, inshallah. We'll end up there, inshallah, finally, one day, eventually, yes. When we see each other in Jannah, you will say salam to me, and inshallah, I will say salam to you. And the good thing is, when somebody says salam, we have to reply. To do salam is what? Sunnah. To give jawab is? This is, I think, the one sunnah where the sunnah carries more reward than the wajib. Isn't it? Normally wajib carries more reward. But here, the sunnah carries more reward. Because the Prophet ﷺ would do salam first. He would never give chance to any sahabi to do salam. The sahaba would wait for the opportunity. Today I'm going to do salam first to the Prophet ﷺ, but no. The Prophet ﷺ never gave them a chance. Another beautiful hadith I read this week is that this sahabi, in fact a tabi'i is with a sahabi, or a tabi'i is with a tabi'i. So the tabi'i is, the name slips my mind. He saw a young child and he did salam to a young child. Okay, like you see child on the street, okay, on the turf playing there or walking past. You wouldn't say salam, would you? He's going to play football. But this sahabi, this tabi, what he did was he saw a young child passing by and he said, Assalamu alaikum. And he said, you know what? I saw a sahabi, Anas radiallahu ta'ala, who do the same. See how the tradition passes on. He said, I saw the sahabi, Sayyidina Anas radiallahu ta'ala, do the same. He was passing by a young boy and he said, Assalamu alaikum. And at that point, what did he say? That I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam passing by a child and he would say salam. Subhanallah. He would say salam to them. So it's a sunnah to do salam even to our younger ones and to our older ones. Do not start your conversation without salam, even on the phone. Hello? Yeah, hello, fair enough. Hello is by default. You just pick up the phone and somehow you just say hello, isn't it? And in any part of the world, they still say hello, yeah? Spanish, what do they say? I don't know. They might still say hello, or even in Arab world, hello, but still, and then assalamu alaikum. That's fine. But you should not talk without doing salam. Now, an interesting story is, what's the story? Durud Pak. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa barik wa sallim. Salatu wa salamun alayhi ya Sayyidi ya Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. It really slips my mind. So it was there. I should have written it down. That's why assist your memory by writing it down. Don't trust your memory. Trust what you write. This is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Assist your memory by writing it down. And I was in two minds, which sunnah am I doing? And so I did not write it down and it slips my mind. But anyway, what it teaches us is that salam carries a lot of reward. And one more sunnah is that if somebody does salam to you, you reply in a better way. So if somebody says, Assalamu alaikum, our reply should be, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. If somebody says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, our reply should be Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And this is the end of it, by the way. Some people go Wa jannatu halaluhu and dozahu haramuhu and God knows, and they continue, yeah? This is it. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If somebody says that to you, you reply in the same. You don't need to add something more to it. You just finish off over here. The one who does salam gets 90 reward. The one who does salam. The one who does salam first, alhamdulillah, gets how many reward? 90 rewards. And the one who replies only gets 10. Now it is up to you and me. Do you want 90 or do you want 10? But for 90, sometimes you'll have to, break your ego. Say, you wait for the other person to do salam. Why am I doing the salam all the time? Why should he not do the salam? Okay? Let go of your ego of the pride, and just do salam first, inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inshallah tabarak wa ta'ala give you more reward. There's a lot that can be said about salam, but it gives us an idea that salam is a greeting of ours, it is the greeting of the dead, it is also the greeting of the Ahlul Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to spread salam, inshallah. And the Sahaba would look for ways, just something I remember, they would look for ways to do salam. In the sense, any chance to do salam. So if they are walking and something comes in between them, say a tree comes in between them and one goes this way and the other goes this way, then when they meet up on the other side, they do salam again. Okay, they do salam again. So if you see each other in the next room, do salam, and in the next room do salam. Okay, but reasonably try and do salam, especially when you enter the house. Okay, and it is stated when you enter the house and there is nobody there, what should you do? You should say Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyyu wa rahmatullah. You should say salam on the Ruh Mubarak of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If nobody is there, then inshallah the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's mercy is there, inshallah. So you do salam to that, inshallah. And when you do salam, when you enter your house, then inshallah you get barakah too. And just the last thing, when you meet, you say salam, is that right? When you separate from each other, when you leave, you should also say salam. This is equally important, okay? People tend to do salam when they come, and they tend to do Khuda Hafiz when they go. Khuda Hafiz is fine. There's nothing wrong with Khuda Hafiz or Allah Hafiz. Now some people ask question, is it Allah Hafiz or is it Khuda Hafiz? They're both the same, okay? Khuda is in Persian. Allah is Allah Ta'ala, okay? So just like we say Rabb in Arabic and we say Khuda in Persian. So Khuda Hafiz or Allah Hafiz means the same thing, but that is not a substitute for salam. So even when you depart, when you are leaving, you should still say salam. You should still say salam and then leave just as you said salam when you come. May Allah Ta'ala give us a tawfiq. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Little Hussein wants to pray now. Who's little Hussein? MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah, our little brother Hussein wants to pray now. MashaAllah. Before Maulana Muazzin comes up for his main speech, inshallah, he's going to pray that. Have a special mic for you, brother. And we pray on normal mic. Come forward.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah wa sallam alayka ya Habiballah. Tum chalo hum chale, sab Madine chale. Tum chalo hum chale, sab Madine chale. Tum chalo hum chale, sab Madine chale. Janibe Taiba sab ke Sadine chale. Janibe Taiba sab ke Sadine chale. Tum chalo hum chale, sab Madine chale. Tum chalo hum chale, sab Madine chale. शुक्र खुदा के आज करी उस सफर की है। शुक्र खुदा के आज करी उस सफर की है, जिस पर निसार चांद फैला हो सफर की है। जिस पर निसार चांद फैला हो सफर की है। کے جینے چلے آؤ ہم بھی وہاں مر کے چلے آؤ ہم بھی وہاں مر کے جینے چلے تم چلو ہم چلے سب مدینے چلے اینی سہانی صبح میں ٹھنڈک جگر کی ہے اینی سہانی صبح میں ٹھنڈک جگر کی ہے کلیا کھلی دلوں کی ہوائیں جگر کی ہے کلیا کھلی دلوں کی ہوائیں جگر کی ہے طیبہ میں مر کے ٹھنڈے چلے جاؤ آگ بند طیبہ میں مر کے ٹھنڈے چلے جاؤ آگ بند زیدی سر کے شہر شفاعت نگر کی ہے آؤ ہم بھی وہاں مر کے جینے چلے آؤ ہم وہاں مر کے جینے چلے تم چلو ہم چلے سب مدینے چلے تم چلو ہم چلے سب مدینے چلے
السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ تعالی وبرکاتہ
وعلیکم السلام ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ
الحمد للہ رب العالمین والصلاة والسلام علی سید الانبیاء والمرسلین وعلى آلہ واصحابہ الطیبین الطاہرین اما بعد فاعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم ان اللہ وملائکتہ یصلون علی النبی يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد معادل الجود والكرم وابن الكريم وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم صلاة وسلام عليك يا رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم. Once again, with love and affection, please repeat after me. As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Rasulullah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habib Allah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Habib Allah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabi Allah.
As-salatu was-salamu alayka ya Nabi Allah.
Wa ala alika
Wa ala alika
wa ashabika
wa ashabika
ya Nur Allah.
ya Nur Allah.
Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam.
Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam.
Alhamdulillah, it's with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have once again been given the opportunity to be sat here in the remembrance of Allah and His Habib sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Today, inshallah, as we probably already know, the topic of today is the Kaaba, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, a question was asked to me a few years ago whilst I was in I'tikaf in Ramadan Sharif. It was approximately 3 years ago. That is the Kaaba or the Masajid, the house of Allah, or is it a place of worship? So this is a question I pose to you today as well. Is the Kaaba and the Masajid the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or are they a place of worship? Yes?
A place of worship.
Place of worship. Anyone else want to elaborate on that? Someone, I can hear someone saying both. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says Baytullah. And if those that know Arabic will know, Bayt means house. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself calls the Kaaba and the Masajid the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now a question arises in our minds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from space. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from body parts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from makan, i.e. area, space, place where He lives. He is free from all these. Then how can we say that it is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And when I answered this question to that person that asked that it is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the very question they asked me. that how can we call it the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from living in a house? How is this possible? So the answer that I gave was very simple. I gave him an example of someone who is a property investor, someone who invests in properties, someone who owns many houses. He has his own house, but he owns many other houses. That doesn't necessarily mean that that person is living in that house as well that he owns. The house he will live in is one. He lives in only one house, but all the other houses, when we ask whose house is this, we won't call it the person who lives in that house, we won't say it's that person's house. For example, Zaid owns 3 houses. One he lives in, 2 other houses. We will still say that the other 2 houses which he doesn't live in, we will still say that he is the owner of this, it is his house. But we will not say that he lives in that house. It is on rent or whatever it is being done with that house. Without any comparison, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in a place which befits His majesty. He is in a place which befits His majesty. So a place where we cannot comprehend. A place which is not placed. As we say, it is a space where there is no space. A time and a place where there is no time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no body, has no time, has no space. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is where there is no place, there is no time, and that is special to Him. We cannot understand this. So that is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a sense lives. We cannot specifically say that that's where He lives, but in a sense, for the point of this matter, we will say that He lives in that place. But all the masajid, all the Kaaba, and all the masajid around the whole world are all the houses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now then, why can we not call it a place of worship? Why did I not say, someone mentioned very nicely, and it's a good point as well, we could say it's both. We could say that it's both. But why do I argue that it is not both? Why do I argue that it is not a place of worship? Anyone want to try and think of this answer? Yes, that is, but you could also still say, even if it doesn't say in the Quran, that it is a place of worship. That's where we worship, don't we? So why do we not call it a place of worship? Why am I saying that we shouldn't call it a place of worship and just stick to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes, we could say that, but the reason is, I'll tell you, that Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, it's a famous hadith, that Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam says that a speciality of my ummah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this speciality to my ummah, that the whole world has become a place of worship for them. The whole world has become a place of worship for them. Now if you look at other religions, Christianity, Judaism, you will never hear that they say that we can worship and do our daily prayers or our weekly prayers in our homes. They won't say this. They have to go to the church or they have to go to the worship place. But whereas with Muslims and the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, we have been given this opportunity that if you are busy or if you have other means, other reasonable reasons, then you are able to pray your salah, you are able to do your daily worship in your homes or in whatever place you are. And this is why the whole world has been called the place of worship for us. Hence why I say that the Kaaba and the masajid or the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the whole world, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has made it a place of worship. Now when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the Kaaba to be created, to be made, to be built, before it was actually ordered to be built, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this world. And then He said to Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, He said to Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam that, "O Jibreel, go to Jannah and get an axe. Get an axe from Jannah. Take it down to the earth. Then He said that go to the center of earth and strike it as hard as you can on the ground." So Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam did so. He went down with the axe and he struck the earth as hard as he could in the center of the earth, exact center of the earth. Then obviously when we know that if we are to dig or if we are to hit the ground with something hard, then dust is to come out. Yeah? Dust goes around into atmosphere, in your surroundings. It's been said in the Kitab of Huzur Nazmiyah, he says that when Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam struck the earth, because the axe was no ordinary axe, the earth, when he struck it, the dust went all over the world. It spread out to the whole world. And then he says, Huzur Nusmiyah says further, that wherever the dust landed, that very place became a masjid. So wherever we go to the masjid, it is not an ordinary building. Because that is the place where the dust, where the Kaaba is, from the Kaaba is, that landed when Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam was ordered to hit the earth with the axe. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why did he order this Kaaba to be created? Obviously we know the story of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam and why he was sent to this earth and why what mistake which he made. We already know about this. So Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was sent to this earth. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam that now you need to create a Kaaba. You need to create a house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Hazrat Adam alayhi salam questioned and said that, oh Allah, what is the reason for this? What is the reason for the Kaaba to be built? He said, oh Adam, in the heavens there is Baitul Ma'mur. In the heavens there is Baitul Ma'mur. And that is where the angels worship. I wish that my believers, the humans, when I create them, they are the best of creation. They will be the best of creation. So I wish that when they come onto this earth, they also have a place where they can go specifically and worship me directly. The way that the angels go to the Baitul Ma'mur, I wish that the humans go to the Kaaba and worship me and gain my closeness. So this is the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then ordered Hazrat Adam alayhi salam to erect the building of the Kaaba. Now it's also been said that, because like I said that the Kaaba is in the center of the earth, it has been said that Baitul Ma'mur is exactly above the Kaaba. The Baitul Ma'mur is exactly above the Kaaba. Hence why a lot of people ask this question, that for example in Makkah al-Mukarramah now, when you see that the hotels are very big, the hotels are very high, and in the Ijtema I mentioned about the clock tower being the second tallest building in the world. So the hotels are very tall. So the question was asked that if I pray my namaz towards I can see the Kaaba, but the Kaaba is shorter than my hotel. I am above the Kaaba. Why if I pray my namaz towards the Kaaba there, does my namaz count? The answer to that is simply yes. Because the Kaaba is not restricted or limited to where you can see it. It goes all the way to the heavens. So even if you are in a helicopter and you need to recite your Nafil Salah, you want to recite Nafil Namaz, you can face the Kaaba and your Nafil Namaz will count as well. So this, just to understand the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that not only is the building for us, but also all the way to the heavens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this leniency. Now, I've already mentioned that Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was the first person to create the Kaaba. Hazrat Jibreel planted the foundation. Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was the first person to build the Kaaba. Who was the second person? Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now who knows why Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam had to build the Kaaba again? If Hazrat Adam alayhi salam has already done it, then why did Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam have to do it? There was a lot of floods. There was a lot of floods. Specifically the flood of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. Because Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam is a prophet before Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. So when Hazrat Adam alayhi salam had created the Kaaba was still there. When he built the Kaaba was there. But then the flood of Nuh alayhi salam came. And it destroyed everything. It destroyed everything that was on this earth. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then afterwards he ordered Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam to rebuild the Kaaba with Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. Now this isn't only our belief that the Kaaba was created by, built by Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. It is unfortunate that the Christians have turned away from the original Bible and the original books. But in the Bible, in the Genesis, it actually mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Ibrahim to build a shrine. Now shrine has two meanings, just bear that in mind. Shrine can also mean where someone has passed away, you place a building on top, that is also a shrine. And a shrine can also mean a place where you worship, or a place towards which you worship. Okay? So in the Bible it is mentioned that Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam was ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are to build a shrine. Where does he have to build a shrine? It's also mentioned as well. He says that you have to build a shrine where you have left Hajra and Ismail. You have to build a shrine where you have left Hajra and Ismail. Now we know very well that Hazrat Sayyidah Hajra radiallahu ta'ala anha and Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam, they were left where the well of Zamzam is. Now if you've been to Makkah al-Mukarramah, to the Haram, and if you've been told where the Zamzam well originally is, then you realize that there's not much of a distance between the Zamzam well and the Kaaba. There's not that big of a distance. It is inside the masjid itself. So this shows that in the Bible as well, even Christianity, in the real Christianity, they were told, and this is what their belief was, that a Kaaba was built by who? Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, so Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam was the second person to build the Kaaba. Then who was the third? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Okay. The second was Hazrat Ibrahim, and then yes, before the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam actually was born, what happened was that the leader of Quraysh, sorry, his name was Qusay. He was the one who actually built the Kaaba again, because he saw that the Kaaba was breaking down. So this was before Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. So he saw that the Kaaba was breaking down. So for that reason he came, and as he was the leader, he asked the people of Makkah to help, and they built the Kaaba tall. Before it used to be very small. If you see old pictures as well, you see that they're not very tall. It eventually got taller. Yeah. So before it was very short as well, and it wasn't that tall. So what Qusay did was that he built it a bit taller, a bit bigger, and also he made sure that all the walls were straight. And remember that the Kaaba is not originally square. You know how we see as a cube? It's not originally as a cube. It is actually a rectangle in shape. So Qusay made sure that the walls were completely straight, and he made sure that there was a door at every wall. He put a door on every wall. The reason for putting a door on every wall was so that people could easily go in and out. Because at that time, obviously, there wasn't that many people who would actually go. It would only really be the people of Makkah, or the people of the Quraysh, or the Hijaz at the most. So the people, there wouldn't be that many. So what he decided was to give more doors, so that all of the people that were there, they would easily go in and out of the Kaaba whenever they wish to worship. And it's also been said that the door was constantly open and they never closed it. At that time, they would never close the door, because even in the middle of the night, if anyone felt upset at home, they would walk out of the house and go into the Kaaba and start worshipping, and that was where they found peace. And then the fourth was, as mentioned, that it was at the time of Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Now this was before Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam announced prophethood, and the reason again was because there was a lot of floods around that area. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, along with the Quraysh and the people of Makkah, they planned to rebuild the Kaaba so that it is in a better state. Now at that time, at the end of the building of the Kaaba, they came across an obstacle. Because the Quraysh, the people of Makkah, they were very proud of themselves. Because of being Arabs, they were very proud of themselves. They have arrogance in them. Now, they were all arguing and fighting over who would put the Hajar Aswad back into the Kaaba. Now obviously this is, as we know, it goes without saying that it is of a great privilege to be able to do so. Yeah, to pick the Hajar Aswad up and to put it into the Kaaba in the Rukne Aswad, in the corner where Hajar Aswad is. It is obviously a great privilege to do so. So they started arguing, saying that our tribe is higher, my tribe is bigger. Yeah, we have elder people in our tribe, you've got younger people. These kind of arguments started going amongst them. Then they came up with a solution that whoever comes into the Haram, into the Masjid, first thing tomorrow morning, will be the person who decides who puts the Hajar Aswad into the Kaaba. So, coincidentally, the next morning, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam was the first one to enter the Masjid. So he entered the Masjid, and then the people that came after him, they saw that it was Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. As soon as they saw that it was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they became very happy. Now bear in mind that he hadn't pronounced prophethood at this time. And the people weren't Muslims at this time either. Yes? They weren't Muslims at this time either. Then why were they happy? The reason is because even before the prophethood was announced, even before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam declared that he was a prophet, the people of Makkah, the people who knew him as Sadiq, the one who is most justful, the one who speaks the truth. So these kind of attributes were already given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam well before he even propagated Islam, before he even proclaimed prophethood. So for this reason, they became happy that it is a justful person that has come, and whatever decision he makes, we will all accept. Because he is very just, and he will make sure that the decision he makes will not do any harm to anybody. So as we know, you probably already know as well, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then ordered for cloth to be bought, and the Hajar Aswad was placed in the middle of it. The leaders of all the tribes were ordered to hold the corners of this cloth and to walk towards the Kaaba with the Hajar Aswad in the middle. Then when he got to the Kaaba, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, he picked the blessed Hajar Aswad up and he placed it into the Kaaba. Now this was the fourth time when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was around and he placed the Hajar Aswad into the Kaaba. Now the fifth was after Karbala. Now what happened here was that, as we know, Yazid, he was a tyrant and he made the Ahl Bayt Shaheed. Thereafter he did not stop there. If you've read what happens after Karbala, it is very interesting. You should try and read on this, because generally we hear about what happened in Karbala, but very little time we hear about what actually happened after Karbala, after the Ahl Bayt was made Shaheed, what exactly happened and how Yazid proceeded. But just for the sake, what Yazid did was that he went to Medina Sharif. He went to Medina Munawwara and he started attacking Masjid al-Nabawi Sharif. Once he's done that, then he came to Makkah al-Mukarramah and he destroyed the Kaaba. Okay? So Yazid, he destroyed the Kaaba at that time. And when he did this, he was under the command of Hassin ibn Namir. We went to Medina and also they came to Makkah and they demolished the four walls of the Kaaba. And then it was rebuilt by Abdullah ibn Zubair, who actually got it rebuilt. Afterwards, later on, after Yazid actually died, after that, Abdullah ibn Zubair came out and he rebuilt the Kaaba to its fame. Now the way that the Kaaba is today, the book that I was reading, it's mentioned in there that the way that the Kaaba is a square today was because Hazrat Abdullah ibn Zubair, he's the one that made it like that afterwards as well. Okay, so Hazrat Abdullah ibn Zubair made it into square and then he made the Hatim separately. Now, I was listening to a speech and Alim very beautifully says that this is our luck. This is our luck. That if Hazrat Abdullah ibn Zubair, just imagine this, that if the Kaaba was still the shape that is meant to be, how many times would we get the opportunity to enter the Kaaba? We would not get the opportunity. Yeah? There's a very minimal chance, if not impossible, for us to enter the Kaaba. Okay? But now that it's the square and there's extra Hatim, how many of us have been to Umrah and recited 2 rakat nafil in the Hatim? Nearly everyone that goes, at least once, they will be able to say that I've recited 2 rakat nafil at least once in the Hatim. Now the ulama, they say that reciting 2 rakat nafil in the Hatim is equivalent to reciting 2 rakat nafil inside the Kaaba. Subhanallah. So this is our luck, that if the Kaaba was left as it was, then we would not get the opportunity to recite even 2 rakat nafil salah inside the Kaaba, but it is with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He ordered, or by ilham He gave these awliya the thought that we should make it into a cube rather than all the way as it was, and add an extra Hatim to signify that this part is also part of the Kaaba. So this is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was when Hazrat Abdullah ibn Zubair then rebuilt the Kaaba. Now thereafter, in approximately 317 AH, 317 to 317 AH, there was an invasion that took place Muslims in Makkah. And at that time they attempted to destroy the Kaaba, but they failed. And what they did was that they took the Hajar Aswad at that time. So the Hajar Aswad was taken around 317 AH, which comes around to approximately 929 AD. So it says that they took the Hajar Aswad at that time. But then it was returned back approximately 20 years later. It was returned back by the Muslims, and they brought it back and placed it into the Kaaba. Now in 1981, we hear many times about the fitna of the Wahhabis, the fitna of the Saud. And just to keep it simple, when the Ottomans were in power, obviously we all know that a battle was to take place between the Ottomans and the Sauds. Now, the Ottomans were in power and the Sauds entered the Haram Sharif with ammunitions. And it has been mentioned that they were, up to the extent there were tanks there as well. They entered the Haram Sharif and attempted to destroy the Kaaba. They actually attacked the Kaaba, and one wall of the Kaaba was destroyed. But then the Ottomans, they gave up, and they said because they did not want bloodshed inside the Haram Sharif, they let go of the empire and they handed it over. Hence why the battle did not take place. So that was when the Kaaba was damaged again, and then the Kaaba was rebuilt. And now that we see today that the Kaaba is the state that we see the Kaaba in, with the big black bricks, that was done by the empire of the Sauds. Okay, so that's the history of where the Kaaba was. So from this we understand a few things. That the Kaaba is not what you see. The Kaaba is not what you see. But the Kaaba rather is what you don't see. Because it is the spirituality of that place that is special, not the brick walls. Because if it was the brick walls, specifically, yes, I'm not saying that don't go there and don't touch the Kaaba. What I'm trying to come to is that even if the Kaaba was to be destroyed, that place will still stay sacred. And we'll still be praying our salah towards the Kaaba. Now, speaking of reciting our salah towards the Kaaba, and inshallah I'll end at that point, is that who knows where our first Qibla was. We know that today our Qibla is towards the Kaaba, but where was our first Qibla? Masjid al-Aqsa. Anyone else? Masjid al-Qiblatain. Anyone else? It was the Kaaba. The Kaaba was the first place, the Qibla which we had. Then we turned to Masjid al-Aqsa, to Bayt al-Maqdis. Then we turned back to the Kaaba. So if anyone asks what is our first Qibla, the first Qibla was the Kaaba. When the Muslims were in Makkah Sharif, they used to recite the Salah towards the Kaaba. But when they migrated towards Medina, then they turned the Qibla towards Bayt al-Maqdis. And then obviously we know the story of Masjid al-Qiblatain, when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was reciting Salah. Then he kept looking up, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, "Oh beloved, turn your face towards whichever way you want your Qibla to be." Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam turned 180 degrees completely in opposite direction and faced the Kaaba, and that became our Qibla, and until the Day of Judgment, inshallah, that will remain our Qibla as well. So I hope you have learned something today. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me if I have said anything wrong, and give us the ability to learn more about our religion and act upon our religion as well. وَمَا تَوْفِيقِ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Just one announcement before we do a short zikr inshallah, and then Maghrib Salah. Qurbani. Okay. 2 announcements then inshallah. If you want to do Qurbani through SDI, as many people have been doing over the past years, then there is a poster going around. Check on social media, SDI media on Twitter or SDI UK. You'll get the poster, contact Hafiz Sahab or myself inshallah, and we'll take your details. And the Qurbani will be done in India. Also inshallah, next week, next Sunday, we have a special event over here at the SDI Center with Bulbule Baghi Medina Al-Hajj Karim Muhammad Rizwan Sahab inshallah. It's actually a Hajj training program because this is the time for Hajj. A lot of people are going to Hajj. There is a brother Wasati is going for Hajj, mashallah. So even if you're not going for Hajj, and you want to listen to Qari Sahab, you want to see Qari Sahab, then you're most welcome to come here, inshallah, tabarak wa ta'ala. That is next Sunday. Yeah, the World Cup will be over by then, so you'll be fine, inshallah. So next Sunday, inshallah, okay, at 6 o'clock, whoever, if you know anyone who is going for Hajj, let them know. Even in other towns, mashallah, it's an opportunity to listen to Qari Sahab, and he specializes in this, mashallah, training of Hajj. So even if you have been, or you haven't been, or you are going, or you're not going, you can come and attend, inshallah. We'll have short zikr, and after that, inshallah, we'll straight away pray Allah Maghrib Salah.
الله رب محمد صلى عليه وسلم نحن عباد محمد صلى عليه وسلم الله رب محمد صلى عليه وسلم نحن عباد محمد صلى عليه وسلم خافنا لك رزازنا تو ہے عبد مصطفیٰ تیرے لیے امان ہے تیرے لیے امان ہے اللہ رب محمد صلی علیہ وسلم نحن عباد محمد صلى عليه وسلم أستغفر الله أستغفر الله أستغفر الله ربي من كل ذنب وأتوب إليه حسبي ربي جل الله ما في قلبي غير الله نور محمد صلى الله لا إله إلا 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 الله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله إلا الله لا إله 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 إلا الله تیرے صدقے میں آقا سارے جہاں کو دین ملا بے دینوں نے کلمہ پڑھا لا الہ الا اللہ 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 سمت نبی Oh پر لاکھوں سلام، تم پر لاکھوں سلام حبیبی، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، سب سے اعلیٰ عزت والے، غلبہ و قہر و طاقت والے، حرمت والے، کرامت والے، حرمت والے، کرامت والے، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، تم پر لاکھوں سلام حبیبی، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، آپ کا چاہا رب کا چاہا، رب کا چاہا آپ کا چاہا، آپ کا چاہا رب کا چاہا، رب کا چاہا آپ کا چاہا، رب سے ایسی چاہت والے، رب سے ایسی چاہت والے، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، تم پر لاکھوں سلام، تم پر لاکھوں سلام حبیبی، تم